What is good, sentient microbial sacks? Today I'm going to film a video that I think is really important, or that I really wish I had been able to have access to or find before I started my undergraduate. As I previously mentioned, I'm an environmental science major, which is really kind of difficult because there's a lot of variable hours. Personally, I go to Oklahoma State, and I have roughly 25 to 30 credit hours, which could be satisfied by multiple courses, so it's really hard to tell just by reading what the classes are going to be on, and that's not even mentioning what the classes are going to be like. So I wanted to film a video on kind of my top 5 favorite classes that I've taken with regards to my environmental science major. To clarify, I'm also an honors student at Oklahoma State, but I didn't want to include any classes that were just for my honors degree. So none of those are in a part of this video, but there are some classes that are kind of half associated with my environmental science degree and half associated with either my chemistry or geology minors. And that's really useful because being an environmental science major, you're taking a wide variety of classes, so you can kind of take more of classes that you're very interested in, and it's really easy to get minors in those things so you can further pursue them if you want, or if you want to get a job in those fields, or go to graduate school in those fields, or focus your research in that field. Because in a lot of ways, environmental science, the words environmental science, is kind of just where you're doing the science, not what the science is that you're doing. You're associated with issues that are in the environment or related to the environment, but there's a lot of different ways you can tackle these things. They're honestly, I could not even name them all, but just to name a few, you could be tackling things using geophysics, chemistry, biochemistry, remediation, using bioremediation. There's endless amounts of things. That's not even getting into things like environmental law, environmental justice. There are people who get environmental science degrees who do really wide variety of things. So I just wanted to personally give a top 5 list of the classes that I thought were my favorite. So let's get right into it. Number 5, I would say Introduction to Entomology. For me, I really like bugs. I've done research with bugs, so anyone who knows me wouldn't be surprised about this. They would probably think, why is it not higher? But I would say that I generally don't like biology classes as much in college because I feel like there's just a lot of rote memorization, and entomology was definitely not different in that case. But I did like it because I really like bugs, and I like looking and holding bugs and looking for them in the field and stuff, so I definitely enjoyed that class. Number 4, I would say is Physical Geology. Physical Geology is a class that I took my first semester, and I actually almost switched to being a geology major after taking that class, and considering that I'm probably going to be a geoscience PhD student, or that's what I hope to be, maybe I should have switched, but I think it doesn't really matter. But I definitely really like physical geology. I like the way geologists study the earth. I was just really intrigued by that. The labs were pretty interesting for an introductory class, definitely compared to any other introductory class. But physical geology was a really important class for my academic development. I definitely pushed me in the direction that I wanted to be in. Number 3 would be Introduction to Microbiology. This class is a class that I took online, but microbiology, it's not a lab microbiology class, but just essentially the theory and understanding of introductory microbiology. I want to be a geomicrobiologist, so not surprising that I'm interested in the way microbes do things and the way that they function and interact. I definitely found the class super interesting. I had a really good professor. I would say that my professor in this class that's kind of a common theme in all 5 of these classes, that I had really good professors in all of them, and they were all generally interested and excited about the stuff that they did, and that really helps you as a student to be extra motivated about those classes. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed Introductory to Microbiology. Number 2 would be Planetary Geology. This is definitely, again, not a surprise. I like space. I pushed actually for this class to be offered. Well, maybe not pushed to be offered, but if there wasn't a large enough enrollment, it was going to take it down. So I was trying to convince other people to take it because I was really interested in this class. really wanted to take a planetary class, wanted to understand how planetary geologists think, and I definitely enjoyed this class. Just got a lot of really useful information from it, got to do a lot of cool projects. It was online, there's another class that was online, and I wish it wasn't. I probably would have enjoyed it more if it was not, if it was an in-person class, but there wasn't really much of an option. So I definitely enjoyed the class for what it was, and it's definitely for sure one of my favorite classes that I've taken in undergraduate. I'm really interested in planetary geology, so there's that. And then my number one favorite class that I've taken is hydrogeology. And hydrogeology, I don't plan on being a hydrogeologist, but I think it's a super interesting subject. It's the study of water underground, groundwater, for those of you who don't know what hydrogeology is. But hydrogeology just felt like a really interesting class to me because of the diverse ways that you can apply your understanding of hydrogeology, whether you're doing stuff with contaminants, whether you're trying to supply water. For people like me who are interested in looking for water on other planets, you still have to have a very good understanding of hydrogeology. And I just think that it was a really cool class. It was very interesting in the way it was presented. We got to do a lot of our homeworks are really industry applicable. They're based in the way that you would have to do a job if you say you worked for an environmental department for the state or for the government. So I definitely enjoyed the class, and also the class was very math intensive if you wanted it to be. Our professor didn't make it, but I kind of would take my textbook and use that to further understand the math behind a lot of the concepts, things like Darcy's Law, that you can derive those equations. And I really enjoyed the class, and I really enjoyed doing those things on my own. And I would say that's definitely a common thread for a lot of these classes. I would personally go out of my way to learn more things about them during the class, and even in a lot of cases before the class and after the class, because they interested me that much. So those are my top 5 classes. If you're an environmental science student, I'd be interested in knowing what your top 5 classes were. And then also for people who are future environmental science students or just entering, there's definitely, hopefully going to be a lot of people and a lot of resources to help you take and pursue the path in environmental science that you want to go on. If you have any questions for me, I would happily answer them. So thank you for watching. Keep it loopy.